Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. When it comes to men's perfumery, one of the darlings of the fragrance community in the past 15 years or so has been the La Nuit de l'Homme from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. But there's one big problem with that fragrance, especially in the last 10 years or so, and that's the performance. The batches from the last 10 years or so have had probably an average performance at best. There's also a secondary problem with La Nuit de l'Homme, and that's because it's part of the Yves Saint Laurent fragrance lines. It's expensive, like all the rest of YSL fragrances. So in today's video, I'm going to show you sort of an alternative to Yves Saint Laurent La Nuit de l'Homme, and it's called the Poker Face from the house of Ted Lapidus. I did quite an extensive research on whether there is an actual clone of La Nuit de l'Homme or a fragrance that's very close to that one. And at the end of the day, I came up with this result. You either have to go with some of the clone houses like Alexandria, for example, or Duo or something like that, or your only other option in reality is Poker Face from Ted Lapidus. Now, I cannot show you the full presentation of this fragrance because I have here a tester bottle. It came in this very plain looking white box. And this is how the actual bottle looks. As you can see, it's very simple looking, very plain looking, very cheap looking. It also feels very cheap, and the quality control isn't great either because the name of the fragrance, the Poker Face sign, is actually being glued onto the actual bottle, and it started to peel off like only a few days after I got the fragrance. So I had to put a piece of tape on it so it doesn't disintegrate totally, so this is how the bottle looks. The cap is plastic, it has some weight to it, but it feels cheap, and I will show you the sprayer in a second, and I'll talk about how similar this actually is to the real thing. Okay, let's see the sprayer in action, and then I'll go into detail about the scent profile and how close this is to the original. Okay, so the sprayer isn't bad, isn't great either, somewhere in the middle. Okay, so La Nuit de l'Homme is best known for that great combo of the cardamom and lavender notes. In that fragrance, they're done really nicely, really sexy, really sort of very classy. And here, I'm glad to say that as far as the scent goes, especially sort of in the opening, it's quite close. Now, the cardamom in here is not as prominent as the one in La Nuit de l'Homme, but you still get a bit of that cardamom, you get a bit of that lavender. There's some sort of a mint feeling to this one. As a whole, if I can describe the opening of the Ted Lapidus Poker Face compared to the original, is slightly less spicy, slightly less prominent cardamom in the opening, and just a tad bit sweeter compared to the original thing. Once we get to the dry down of this fragrance, that's where I think that Ted Lapidus Poker Face starts to get a bit closer to the original La Nuit de l'Homme, with a slight difference, and that difference being the fact that this still is a bit sweeter compared to the original La Nuit de l'Homme. In that sense, I think it sort of reminds me a little bit of the La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique, which is again a bit sweeter compared to the original. There is a note of iris that's officially listed on the fragrance itself. As I said, I have a tester bottle, so it has the complete breakdown. The fact is that this is not a powdery type of an iris note in here. It's more of a slightly sweet type of an iris. But on the dry down, it's quite similar to the original La Nuit de l'Homme, but with a tad bit more sweetness compared to that one. Now, maybe what everybody's waiting for, and that's the performance side. As I said, the La Nuit de l'Homme is a fragrance community darling type of a fragrance, but it lacks the performance, especially the newer batches. And unfortunately, Poker Face from Ted Lapidus emulates that part of the original La Nuit de l'Homme as well. I get pretty much the same performance out of this one compared to the original. I get about an average type of performance, maybe slightly over average, maybe around 4 to 5 hours, maybe pushing 6 hours sometimes. But what I miss here compared to the original La Nuit de l'Homme is that this projects even more moderately compared to the La Nuit de l'Homme, which is never been known for its sort of strong projection. So performance wise, or let's say staying power on clothes and skin, this thing performs like the original but has even less projection compared to the original. And so, is it worth picking off the poker face from Ted Lapidus as an alternative to La Nuit de l'Homme? If you can get this one for a good price, somewhere between 30 to maybe 45, let's say 50 at most dollars, and if you like the La Nuit de l'Homme scent profile, then I would say yes, it's worth it, because it's very close scent wise and has pretty much the same performance. And at the end of the day, if you can pick it up for that price, you will be paying like twice as less compared to the original. The other people that this might be for are the ones that want to try La Nuit de l'Homme, or have tried La Nuit de l'Homme but cannot afford the La Nuit de l'Homme price tag. Then again, I would say you can pretty much try to source or pick up the poker face from Ted Lapidus. So guys, in today's video I showed you the poker face fragrance from the house of Ted Lapidus. It's sort of a nice alternative to YSL's La Nuit de l'Homme, or even La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. I hope that you found this video entertaining or helpful. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, stay safe, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye bye.